everyone, welcome back to Speak Up, the podcast where learning English doesn't feel like homework. I'm your host, Ryan, and whether you're listening for the first time or you've been part of our community for a while now, I just want to say we're really glad you're here. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, what makes Speak Up so different from all the other English learning podcasts? And honestly, it's a really good question. Because let's face it, there are tons of podcasts out there teaching English, but so many of them feel robotic and lifeless. You know the type. Someone reading a script, repeating grammar rules, listing out vocabulary like a machine. It's dry. It's hard to focus. And it definitely doesn't feel like something you want to come back to every day. But Speak Up is different. Here, we keep things real. We speak with each other, not at you. It's a relaxed, natural conversation, the way English is actually spoken in real life. That's the real magic, because this approach helps you pick up not just words, but the rhythm, emotion, and logic of the language, and that's what builds real listening and speaking skills over time.
Hi, everyone. I'm your co-host, Priya, and I totally agree with Ryan. People often don't realize how powerful it is to learn through real conversation. When you listen to two people just talking, like we do on the show, your brain starts to catch things without you even trying. You notice how we respond to each other, where we pause, when we emphasize certain words, how we laugh, or even change our tone to express emotion. That's how you begin to truly improve your English fluency, by connecting with how the language feels, not just how it's written. And let's be honest, when English feels human and warm, you actually want to listen. It becomes something you look forward to, and that's what helps you stay consistent. And consistency, more than anything, leads to fluency.
Think about how you learned your first language. You didn't study grammar rules when you were a baby. You listened, you watched, you copied, and over time, you spoke. That's the same approach we believe in here at Speak Up. Every episode is like sitting down with two friends having a casual chat, and you're right there with us, soaking in the language naturally. And when you start repeating what we say, answering our questions in your head, or shadowing our lines out loud, you're training your brain to think in English. And here's the best part. It doesn't even feel like studying. It feels like being part of a real conversation.
And I'll just add one last thing. Speak Up is not about being perfect. It's not about getting every word right or sounding like a native speaker overnight. It's about listening, absorbing, and enjoying the process. You'll start noticing how English sounds, how it flows, and slowly, you'll begin speaking that way too. So if you've been feeling stuck or unsure of how to start, just press play. Tune in. Let the conversation carry you. Because fluency isn't something you memorize, it's something you feel. And we're here to help you find that feeling.
One of the best things about using Speak Up to learn English is that it doesn't require hours of study. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a real difference. Seriously, it's about building a habit, not chasing perfection. I know some people think they need to sit for an hour with a notebook to improve, but that's not how real fluency works. When you listen daily, even while you're cooking, walking, or commuting, you're doing something powerful. You're feeding your brain English in a natural, low-pressure way. That kind of daily English practice builds rhythm, familiarity, and most important, confidence.
Yes, and the best part, you don't always need something new. Sometimes the most effective way to learn English fast is to replay the same episode more than once. The first time, just listen. The second time, try to notice patterns, sentence structures, words we repeat, phrases we use casually. And then the third time, try to speak along with us. That's where the magic happens. Because every time you revisit the same conversation, your brain understands a little more, and it sticks a little deeper.
Exactly. It's something I always recommend. Don't focus on learning English word by word. That's slow and honestly kind of frustrating. Instead, focus on chunks, full phrases, expressions, the way we naturally say things. When you hear us say things like, to be honest, or I totally agree with that, repeat those exact phrases. Don't break them apart. Just absorb them as they are. That's how fluent speakers talk. And learning this way makes you sound more natural without even trying.
And here's the thing, consistency is everything. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand every single word. You just need to keep showing up. Listen to a little English every single day. Speak a little English every single day. When you do that with Speak Up, you're not just learning the language, you're living it. And when English becomes part of your daily rhythm, fluency stops feeling like a dream. It starts feeling like something that's already happening.
Now that we've understood what makes Speak Up different from other English podcasts, let's talk about something else that truly sets it apart: the way you can practice speaking English with us while you listen. This method is called shadowing, and it's one of the most powerful ways to improve your spoken English. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence, pause the audio, and then repeat that sentence out loud, copying not just the words, but the exact tone, rhythm, and feeling. It might feel a little awkward at first, but trust me, it's one of the fastest ways to train your brain and mouth to work together. And the best part is, you're not doing it with stiff textbook lines. You're doing it with real, emotional conversation.
Exactly, and that's what makes Speak Up so helpful. We're not just giving you sentences to memorize, we're having real conversations that you can literally join in on anytime. When you shadow what we say, you're not just working on pronunciation, you're practicing connection. You learn how words sound when people are laughing, thinking, agreeing, reacting, just like in real life. This is where English speaking practice becomes natural. No pressure, no classroom rules, just your ears, your voice, and your curiosity.
Let's break it down really simply so anyone listening can start doing it today. Here's what you do. First, listen to a short sentence. Second, pause the podcast. Third, repeat the sentence out loud, exactly the way you heard it. Match the emotion, the speed, even the pauses. And then play it again to hear the original and compare. That's it. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a partner. You've got us. And with daily shadowing, you'll notice your fluency growing without even realizing it.
And we've actually designed our episodes with that in mind. We speak clearly, naturally, and at a pace that's perfect for this kind of practice. We also use phrases and expressions that come up in real conversations, the kind of English you'd hear between friends. So don't worry about sounding perfect. Just repeat with us, a few minutes each day. Little by little, your confidence will grow and you'll start to sound more natural without even needing to think about grammar rules. That's the beauty of shadowing with Speak Up.
Okay, so we've talked about how shadowing helps with speaking, but let's now talk about vocabulary, because honestly, this is where most learners get stuck. They try to memorize long, random word lists, 10 new words a day, 20 words a day, but the problem is they don't remember them when it's time to speak. That's because memorization without context doesn't work. Instead of learning words by heart, the smarter way is to notice them in real conversations. That's where Speak Up really helps you learn English vocabulary naturally.
Yes, when you listen to our episodes, you hear words and phrases used in real context, not textbook examples. And that's how you truly remember them. Let's say you hear Ryan say, "That really blew my mind." Maybe you've never heard that before. Instead of just ignoring it or quickly translating it, pause and write it down. Notice how it was used. Feel the emotion behind it. That's one new phrase, one real phrase that's never yours.
Exactly. And when you write it down, don't just write the word, write the full phrase or the sentence. Then go one step further. Try using that new phrase in your own conversations. Say it to yourself. Use it in a WhatsApp message. Try it while thinking in English. This is how you build vocabulary that sticks, not because you forced it, but because it became part of your actual speaking.
And remember, every episode of Speak Up is packed with natural vocabulary, the kind of words people really use every day, not the awkward or outdated stuff. When you hear these phrases again and again in different contexts, they stay in your memory. You don't have to force it. It just becomes part of you. So stop stressing about vocabulary lists. Start listening, writing, and using. That's the magic formula to learn English vocabulary with ease.
All right, so we've seen how learning vocabulary can be simple and real. But let's talk about something that really excites our listeners:
pronunciation, accent, and that natural rhythm of English. You know, most learners think they need a fancy accent or robotic drills to sound fluent. But the truth is, the real magic happens when you listen. When you hear natural conversations every day, like the ones we have here on Speak Up, your brain automatically picks up on the music of English.
That's such a great point, Ryan. English isn't just about words. It's about how you say them. The way we pause, the way we stress certain words, the emotion in our tone, all of that matters. And the best way to absorb that is by listening to real people talk. Not AI voices, not flat scripted videos, but real human conversation. That's why Speak Up is so helpful. It gives you real English speaking tips just by listening.
And here's the trick that works wonders. Try to mimic us. I mean it. When you hear a sentence, pause, repeat it out loud, and try to match the tone, the pause, and the flow. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just getting close helps you sound more natural every day. You don't need to sound American or British. You just need to sound clear and confident.
Exactly. And when you do this regularly, something amazing happens. Your mouth starts to get used to those patterns. Your speaking becomes smoother. You stop translating and start feeling the rhythm. That's how actors train. That's how kids learn languages. And that's how you can improve too.
So, if you've been searching for honest, practical English speaking tips, this is it. Forget the robotic voice exercises. Just listen, shadow, and speak. Day by day, your accent, pronunciation, and rhythm will all start to flow naturally, just like it does for native speakers. Now that we've explored how to build vocabulary, understand pronunciation, and use shadowing, let's talk about something even more powerful: turning Speak Up into your personal English coach. Imagine that every episode is a coaching session designed just for you, guiding you step by step. When you stop seeing this as just entertainment and start treating it like a real-life class, you unlock results faster than you can imagine. Not only do you learn new things, you start to speak fluent English with confidence and clarity.
And here's how to make it work like a real coaching system. Step 1, listen with intention, not just for fun. Step 2, pause and repeat out loud. Focus on how Ryan and I pronounce things, how we build sentences. Try to mimic not only the words, but the feeling behind them. Step 3, write down 3 to 5 useful phrases after each episode. Don't worry about long lists. Even if you learn just 5 powerful expressions a day, that's over 100 a month. Step 4, create your own mini speech or story using those phrases. This activates your brain and helps you build your own English voice.
Yes, and one more thing, start a Speak Up journal. After each episode, write a small paragraph. What did you learn today? What new words or ideas stood out to you? Can you try writing your thoughts in English? Over time, you'll see real growth in your writing and your ability to form sentences naturally.
You know, many learners wait for the perfect time or an expensive course to start speaking fluently, but they don't realize everything they need is right here. This podcast is free, it's daily, it's personal, and it's built for people like you who truly want to speak fluent English and take charge of their journey.
It's not magic, it's consistency. When you combine listening, shadowing, writing, and speaking, you're building a 360 fluency habit. Think of us as your English partners. We show up every day with energy, tips, and practice, and all you have to do is follow along and engage.
We've seen learners go from shy and hesitant to bold and fluent in just a few months. And it all starts with this mindset. I am in control of my English journey. So don't wait. Treat this podcast as your English classroom, your private coach, your daily push.
If you've stayed with us this far, that means you're committed, and we just want to say we're proud of you. Speak Up is more than a podcast. It's a space to grow, to experiment, and to become the speaker you've always wanted to be.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Please follow Speak Up, leave a kind review, and share it with your friends or anyone who's working on their English. We want to grow this community of learners who are serious about becoming fluent, and we can't do it without you.
Until next time, stay motivated, stay curious, and as always, speak up and never stop learning.